What's up, what's up? It's Saucy Rossy, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue. Today I'm trying something a little bit different though. I'm making breakfast tacos. Look at this. Doesn't that look absolutely delicious? I found this recipe from Cooking Con Claudia, and she did a great job with it. So I thought I'd try it out myself because of how amazing it looked. So come on along for the ride. Let's get started and jump right into this. And make sure you're liked and subscribed. I put out new recipe videos all the time. So welcome to my channel if this is your first time seeing a video. Hope you enjoy yourself while you're here. Let's start by getting a cast iron frying pan, or really any type of frying pan or skillet, rip roaring hot, and get some potatoes in there. Now these potatoes are nice and cubed up like little hash browns. That's going to be really important here. One thing to note, the potatoes are about 50% of this cook time. So if you cube them up a little bit smaller, they will cook a little bit faster, but that's on you. And honestly, you don't even have to use potatoes that you cut up. You can buy some potatoes and just throw them in. You can get those little McCain ones. They're tiny. That would work perfect for this. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and cook these potatoes through. As you can see, I seasoned them up as well. I'm using Gravel by Cuso Cuts. I just think that dry rub goes great on potatoes, but honestly, it's up to you. I'm not going to judge you. If you like just salt and pepper, go ahead and do that. You can throw on some garlic or onion powder as well, or if you have a different dry rub you want to use here, go right ahead. It's your flavor profile that you enjoy. So just make sure you're fully cooking these potatoes through. That's real important. Like I said, these potatoes take about 50% of this cook time. So I don't know, probably about 20 minutes I got these, maybe 15, 20 minutes or so I got them on there before I threw on this chorizo sausage. So this sausage, I'm going to break down and just kind of mix around and get it incorporated as well. We really want to cook this down and get it well done so that it's going to be nice and cooked through when we make that taco. So go ahead, use whatever you're using, spatula. Some people have that little like weird shaped thing that breaks up all the meat. It's probably just called like a meat breaker or something. Anyway, use whatever you got and let's get this all ripped up and spread out, okay? As you can see also, I'm using a oven mitt to hold the cast iron skillet. That's real important here if you are using cast iron. Heat transfers perfectly through those, so don't burn your hands. It hurts a lot. I'm going ahead and throwing in some diced up cherry tomatoes, jalapeno pepper, and a red onion. These are all delicious flavors that are going to elevate everything in here, so I go ahead and just start mixing this up. Real important to get it nice and stirred around so that the veggies, the sausage, the potato, all is making contact and kind of, getting that nice little sear on there and, cooking it through properly. Super important here. And now that we've got this mixed up, we're going to go ahead and throw a lid on it and just kind of let it cook while it's sitting there. I also did this for a bit while cooking the potatoes. This really helps keep the moisture in there when you don't want your potatoes to be all dry and whatnot. Otherwise, you're going to have to be adding in liquid. So using a lid while it's cooking here is real important. So every now and then, though, you'll want to just kind of pick it up and give everything a really good stir. Make sure you're moving things around, not letting just like one layer sit on the bottom and one layer sit on the top. You got to make sure you're giving it a good mix and melange, as they say. Next, I'm going to throw in a red bell pepper. Now, I'm only throwing in about a half a red bell pepper here, nothing too crazy. You can honestly put in as much as you'd like, but I put this in later on. I want to keep that little bit of crispiness. Bell peppers cook through very quickly. There's just a lot of water content in them. So by putting them in earlier with the other veggies, I would have really cooked them down. So put them in just a little bit later. You'll get a little bit more of a crunchiness out of them, but we still do want to cook them down. All right. This is the fun part, the cheese. So I got some Monterey Jack cheese. In the original recipe, they're using queso Oaxaca, I think it is. But I don't have access to that. I live up here in Canada, and it's the winter. We don't got all kinds of cheeses like that up here. We got different cheese like brie and like all those weird wienery cheese. I'm not in it. I don't want that. I want these delicious spicy cheeses, these melty cheeses. That's what's going to be perfect here. So this Monterey Jack, we're going to pour it all over, and then we're going to go ahead and throw that lid back on. That's really going to help melt that cheese down by keeping that humidity in there. Then next, let's go ahead, fry up an egg. That's pretty straightforward. I don't think I need to walk you through that. I mean, let me know in the comments below if I have to make a video on how to fry an egg, but we'll get there one day. So after just a couple of minutes, that cheese is melted down perfectly. That ooey gooiness, you can see that bubbliness here. It just looks fantastic. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Here's a little bit closer of a look, and as you can see, that chorizo sausage leaked off a little bit of its fattiness there, and then the cheese as well as a little bit. It's all just coming together. Oh, this looks absolutely delicious. So you're probably saying to yourself, hey, what's the right play here? What are we going to do? Well, like I showed you at the very beginning of the video, we're going to make the most perfect taco using Casa Bonita corn flour tortillas. So let's go ahead, let's get right in there, right into the frying pan and grab it right out of the pan using the tortilla. Boom. Here it is, all plated up after I pulled it out with the egg on top. Hell yeah. Make sure you're liking and subscribing if you enjoyed this recipe. Tag me on social media if you gave it a try. And check out Cooking Con Claudia's YouTube channel. She is an amazing cook with lots of recipes. Take care and stay safe. What's up, everybody? It's Saucy Rossy, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue. And today, I made 2 delicious racks of ribs. One was with some local Nova Scotian honey, and the other was with local Nova Scotian Haskip jelly. And this was just like, holy cow, these racks of ribs were absolutely incredible. So come on for the ride. I'll show you how I cooked up these delicious ribs. Check out that smoke ring right there. Like, this is something I'm actually proud of. These ribs came out perfect. You can see that little bit of jelly on the side. There's some honey on those ribs in the background. Just a 10 out of 10. So I went to Costco. I picked myself up 2 racks of ribs. I'm just going to slice in there and do the regular, right? We're going to get them out of the package. We're going to pat them dry just using some paper towel. And then we're going to get them all seasoned up. Now, if you're new to doing ribs, they have something on the bottom called the silver skin. It's really important. You get your fingers in there. You can talk to my wife about that. And then you pull off the silver skin right here. That's really important. Silver skin's gross. I don't recommend leaving it on. Some people just say you can slice into it. I am not a fan of that. Personally, I make sure to remove it on all racks of ribs. But to each their own. It's not going to like taste bad per se. It's more of like a texture thing on the bottom for me. But yeah, I always remove my silver skin. And when I'm doing up my ribs, I always make sure to start with a mustard binder. This is not necessary. Like, let me be very clear about that. You can just go straight on with your dry rub, but the mustard binder does help a little bit in my opinion. So do what you please. I'm not going to judge. Today I'm using Kuso Cuts Gravel, and I'm going to give it just a light little coating. I'm not going anything too crazy. The flavors from the honey and the Haskip jelly are really what I want to shine through on this cook. So as you can see here, I'm giving it that nice light sprinkle over top. I also recommend you just run your hand along the side. Ribs are a little bit bigger of a piece of meat to cook. So, you know, you're going to be throwing dry rub around. You don't really want to waste it. So, you know, keep your hands to the side. Make sure everything's landing on top. Then once you've got the bottom side fully coated, we're going to flip them over to the presentation side, or the top side. We're going to repeat the exact same steps. So let's go ahead, fully coat those in our mustard binder. And today I'm using Frenchie's mustard, but literally any mustard can be used here. I highly recommend using a low quality mustard that's cheap, just because the flavor really doesn't come through. You don't taste the mustard or anything. So, you know, don't use expensive mustard for this kind of thing. I made that mistake when I was a bit newer to barbecue, and looking back on it, it was kind of just a waste of mustard. So go ahead, let's get this nice and coated up here. Don't go too crazy with it though, because like I said, we're gonna try and get the honey and the Haskip jelly flavors really shining through here. Now for this cook, I'm gonna be using my offset smoker, and I've got my lumber rolling here. We've got this at about 275, 300 right now. You know, just that's probably where I'll be holding it this whole cook, roughly around 275. I think that's the ideal temperature. Honestly, you can do it anywhere between the range of like 225 and 325. The higher you go, the faster it will cook. The lower you go, the longer it will take to cook. But you're aiming for like 195 internal after everything is said and done. But for my ribs, I kind of follow Heath Ryle's championship method. So if you're unfamiliar with that, What that means is I'll start the ribs directly on the smoker like this, and I'm going to leave them probably for about 3.5 to 4 hours. I go a little bit longer than Heath, but I go about that time frame. So let's say 3.5 hours or so. Then what I do is I pull them off and I prepare tin foil for them. So that means I'm going to put down a layer of sauce, some butter, then I flip the ribs in. You'll see here very shortly when I'm doing it. And when I'm doing this, what we're going to do is we're going to put that tin foil wrapped ribs back on the smoker. We're going to let them sit there for about an hour and a half. So 3.5 hours uncovered, 1.5 hours covered, and then we're at the 5 hour mark. So we're going to finish them off for one last hour open, letting that smoke penetrate back in and finish off the cook. That leaves you with a 6 hour cook for these ribs, and it's just deadly. So check out this wonderful honey I got. It's made by Cosman and Wyden, and they're local to Nova Scotia. And I just love Nova Scotia products, or really Atlantic Canadian products. You'll know that if you pay attention to my channel at all. Big Atlantic Canadian boy over here. And you know, guys, if you're from Atlantic Canada, and have any recommendations for any sauces, honeys, dips, anything like that you think I should try out, please let me know. So like I said, I got my tin foil ready for the first rack of ribs here. And we're going to pull them off and we're going to put them presentation side down. Then I'm going to put some more honey on top of the ribs, because as it cooks, that honey is just going to get warm and spread all over as well. I want these to be an absolute flavor packing experience. So went on with basically the entire jar of honey, and then I go ahead and wrap these ribs up. That's also super important here. You can see I actually left a little bit of space for like smoke to still penetrate through. I actually went back on that afterwards. I don't really show it here, but I actually folded down some tin foil and slotted it in to cover that off. That's really important as well. Now next up, I'm going to go in with some Tyler's Hot Stuff Holy Haskip Jelly. Now if you're not familiar with what Haskip berries are, they're also known as honey berries in other parts of the world. They're an edible fruit native to cold temperature regions of the northern hemisphere, like Canada, Russia, and Japan. The name Haskip comes from the Japanese word for berry, reflecting on its cultural significance in Japan's northern island of Hokkaido. Sorry if I messed that last word up. I have a horrible accent, so... Anyway, so I go ahead and I get this jam pulled out, and it's just got that red, vibrant color that I friggin' love. I love when my ribs come out with a red hue. I don't know what it is, but I get so pumped up about it. Anyway, if you've never had Haskip berries, I highly recommend you check them out. Their flavor is almost... It's a unique taste. It combines elements of like blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, and like a subtle tartness from cranberries. It's really cool. They're kind of weird looking though. They're like small, they're oblong shaped, dark blue. They got a purple interior. Anyway, really interesting color profile to them, taste profile as well. But what we're doing here is we're getting it fully coated on this tin foil. So let's pull those ribs off the offset smoker, put them presentation side down, get them wrapped up in that tin foil all nice like. You'll notice with this wrapping here, I actually did cover them fully. And if you pay attention to the background when I put it in, you can kind of see this should be, the other rack of ribs should be covered up correctly now. But yeah, that's real important here. We're gonna get these nice and wrapped back on the offset smoker running at 275 and continuing to cook these through. Now at this point, we've hit the 5 hour mark. This is a great point. At this part, your ribs just look incredible. This is the part you get to look and just enjoy the view. Oh yeah, look at that. These are the honey ribs. They look just glistening. I was so thrilled with how they looked. And then I pulled these off. Check out that bone pull right there. That's insane. Oh, hell yeah. And it's still holding together. That's also really important here. So not only do we have unbelievable bone pull, but boy, oh boy, are these looking just deadly. Anyway, from the tin foil, all that butter and like flavor and everything, you'll notice I'm making sure to pour it back on top of the rack of ribs. We do not want to waste any of those juices. We want to make sure it's all fully fully covered on there. And just look at these 2 racks of ribs. Let me get you guys in there for a closer shot. Check this out. 10 out of 10. I'm thrilled about this cook. On the right-hand side are the haskipberry ribs. On the left-hand side are the honey ribs. Both of them have unbelievable bone pull. Both of them look absolutely delicious. The bark has built perfectly on these. I can't wait to cut into these. Check out the smoke ring and just get a bite of that absolute flavor packing barbecue. Holy cow. So we've officially hit the milestone, everyone. 6-hour mark has been passed. I am very excited about this. So let's go ahead and pull these ribs off. I'll also scoot over that pulled pork there, but that's for another video. And let's get these inside and take a look at them. And yeah, holy cow, 10 out of 10. I'm thrilled with how this cook turned out. Not only are those honey ribs just glistening and looking perfect, these haskip ribs, which I've never done before, are just looking and smelling amazing. So I really got to buckle up here and get cutting into these. I'm curious if the bones are just going to pull out or not. See, I don't like it when my bones just pull directly out of the meat. I want there to be a little bit of tug. I want to be able to pick up my bone and talk to you aggressively without the meat falling off, but then being able to just take that bite and rip the meat off. So I got a little bit more of this pure Nova Scotian honey, and I go and drizzle just the remainder of it on here. I really enjoyed this part. It's kind of like, you know, after 6 hours of cooking ribs, that's a long cook. It doesn't matter if you are used to barbecue or not. You know, especially with an offset smoker like I'm using. I'm not using just a regular old pellet grill. I have to babysit my barbecue every 10 to 15 minutes just to make sure things aren't spiking, temperatures aren't out of control. So this is just really enjoyable for me. Go back in with some of that Tyler's Hot Stuff, holy haskip jelly as well. I want to put an extra layer of flavor on top of this. Now, it's not as malleable as honey. I kind of have to, you know, melange it in, if you will. But holy cow, like, I'm just really excited about these ribs. This jelly is so flavorful. It's perfect for this time of year around the holidays. But honestly, I'd be happy to eat it in the middle of August, the middle of April. You just give me access to one of these jars and I'm going to eat that whole thing. I actually ate the entire jar in one day. I don't know what to say about that. But this is what I ended up with. Just delicious ribs. Super stoked with how this cook came out. These ribs just look delicious. That smoke ring is prominent. You can see it. Look at that. It looks incredible. You can see that little bit of jelly on top, that little red glisten. 10 out of 10. The ribs you're seeing not with a red glisten, well, those are the honey ribs mixed in here, and they still have a beautiful smoke ring. Everything is looking absolutely to die for. Look at these. These are just... holy cow, I'm thrilled. I can't wait to eat dinner tonight. In fact, to be clear, I actually already ate these, and they were incredible. Like, every single bite. I had a little bit of leftovers. I brought them to work. Just a 10 out of 10. So thanks so much if you're still here watching my video. I love that you guys are enjoying these recipe videos, watching through, hopefully learning how to be better barbecuers. If you guys have any questions or anything, please let me know in the comments below. If you like what you're seeing, again, let me know, and like and subscribe. I'm ever growing this community of home cooks, and I want you to be a part of it. So thank you so much for coming and watching. Really appreciate it. If I had a chance to give you a bite of some of this food, trust me, I would. Thanks again. Take care. Like and subscribe. Stay safe. Check me out on Instagram. What's up? What's up? It's Saucy Rossy, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue, and today I'm sharing a personal favorite recipe of mine. Pulled pork mac and cheese with homemade garlic bread. This stuff's unbelievable. So make sure you like and subscribe and come along for the ride. I'll walk you through everything you need to know. Starting off, this is the cheese I'm choosing to use today. Yeah, that's right, lactose free, because I don't want to fart a bunch at my wife. I don't really know what else to say about that. Yeah, so I go in with this block of cheese and I'm shredding up this entire thing. We're going to set this to the side for now. We're just preparing this ingredient. So shred the entire thing up, get it ready to go, and just put it to the side for now. That's what's going to be important. Oh, cheese is so good. We're then going to put a pot of water onto the stove top and get it boiling. To be clear here, we're going to add a lot more salt than you saw me add there. And this is the pasta of choice that I'm going to be using today. So let's go ahead and cook it to the instructions on the package for it to be al dente. That's what we want here because we are going to move it to the oven. Then we're going to go ahead and make ourselves a homemade roux. This is like a cheese sauce. It's going to start by just combining butter and flour. We're going to cook that down in a saucepan like this. You want to be very slow and gentle about this. You know, go look up how to make a roux recipe, or maybe I'll put out a how to make a roux recipe at a later date. But just for now, be cautious, be careful, and be patient while you're making your roux. Get that flour cooked down as well. That's very important here. Then we're going to take our milk and we're going to start adding that in slowly and letting it all incorporate together. It's really important here to be patient though. Please, please, please be patient. When you're making a roux like this, it's one of those things where if you rush it or pour everything in at once, it just doesn't really work. So like I said, be patient, be patient, be patient. So those noodles are now done al dente. Get those strained out and then put them into a large bowl, and we're going to go in with a bunch of pulled pork. Now you can check out one of my other videos on how to make pulled pork. I have a number of them. I highly suggest you check them out if you haven't. And again, if you're not part of my ever-growing community, make sure you like and subscribe. I drop new recipe videos all the time. Even though it's winter out, I still love barbecue and, you know, anything that's kitchen-related or food-related. So come on, join my community. Back to this, though. Get those noodles and pulled pork really mixed together. It's also important to make sure that the pulled pork isn't kind of clumped together. Get that all ripped apart, spread up so that there's a lot more pulled pork in each bite. Then we're going to go back to our roux. We're going to start adding in cheese and letting that incorporate as well. It's really important here, again, to be patient. This cheese is going to melt down and really thicken up that sauce. And boy, oh boy, is it going to be absolutely delicious. I cannot wait. We got more cheese to go in as well. So if you're a cheese fanatic, you totally got to learn how to make a homemade roux. 10 out of 10 is the best way to have mac and cheese. Now, once we got all that cheese incorporated there, and this is looking good into the velvety thickness that you'd like, we're going to go ahead and pour it all over those noodles and that pork. Oh my gosh, this is delicious. Then grab yourself a nice big spoon. Be careful, this is real hot cheese sauce as well. Those noodles should be warm and hot as well. We're going to get this all incorporated. Mix that up. Do not be scared here. Go all the way. Get this fully incorporated, fully covered. Then we're going to go ahead and move it into whatever dish you have. I just have this little glass Pyrex dish. I transfer it all over, nothing special. And then just get it topped up with some cheese. So let's go get this spread in here and even it out as well. So kind of go down with your first layer, patch in with those little holes wherever you need it to be, fully filled in. Keep going, get this patched down, all that. We want to make sure we don't leave any of that food behind. Get all of it in there. Now, once you're happy with that pulled pork mac and cheese distribution in that Pyrex dish, we're going to go ahead and take a little bit more of that shredded cheese from earlier and top it off right before we throw it in the oven to kind of broil it off and finish her up. So let's get this cheese topped on. And when you're doing this, try not to go too thick with it. I mean, I don't really care what you do. If you really want it to be thick, go ahead. But just remember, we do have that roux in here that's also going to melt down when we cook this. And it's just going to be absolutely delicious. So make sure you don't overload. But honestly, if you do overload, enjoy it. You're really going to like it. So let's go ahead and throw this into the oven. I've got this at 350 right now, and the main thing we're looking for is just that cheese to kind of melt down. And then next, let's go ahead and prepare up some homemade cheesy garlic bread. So I have this South Shore Sea Salt's cheesy garlic salty seasoning. I just buttered up some bread, pretty basic, and then gave it a little sprinkle. This stuff's absolutely delicious, and it's a great way to add a little bit of extra perfectness to your meal, so totally check it out. So I made all that bread, go into the oven. Just kind of notice that things are melting down. So I throw these to go in the oven for, I don't know, 3 or 4 more minutes just to let the mac and cheese finish that cheesy melt and everything can kind of come out at once. So there, it's been about 3 minutes. Pull out the mac and cheese. Just look at these. It just looks glorious. I can't believe how good this looks. Oh my gosh, yeah. Look at that clump of mac and cheese just pooled right next to that pulled pork. Oh my goodness. And I use these shells, if you're wondering, not regular macaroni, just honestly because they kind of have little pockets that cheese and pulled pork can get caught in. And that's just, to die for. So there's my bread. It's kind of toasted up, just a light toasting, nothing too crazy. And this is just going to be a perfect way to kind of complement the mac and cheese. Speaking of which, check this out. This came out perfectly. Look at all that pulled pork. Holy cow. I can't wait to dive into this. It could be a little more cheesy if I'd like it like that, but honestly, this is already going to be absolutely rich and delicious. So I'm going to dive face first into this and fill up my gut. This is the kind of meal you can eat outside in a snowstorm, stay warm, sit in some snow, take your shoes off for a bit and enjoy yourself. Check this out. This little bowl of deliciousness is what I ate for dinner along with my wife, and we both loved it. So make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks again for watching. Take care and stay safe. What's up? What's up? It's Saucy Rossy, and it was storming outside, so I thought to myself, hey, I should go outside and barbecue a steak. So come on for the ride. Make sure you like and subscribe. Join my ever-growing community, and I'll show you how I cook my steaks to this beautiful, we'll call it rare, medium rare. I like it right in between that point. So we're going to start off. Make sure it's snowing outside, and we're going to go get our charcoal grill all prepped and ready to go. Now, normally, I don't have my charcoal baskets filled with charcoal, but where it was really cold the night before, I didn't go clean things out afterwards. So I throw my fire starters in underneath my charcoal chimney. Then I grab my Royal Oak lump charcoal. I really like this stuff. It burns at a high heat, high temperature, and it's just good. You can see there, one of the larger clumps keeps getting caught trying to come out. I like that. I like when my charcoal has big clumps in it. Sometimes you buy charcoal and it's all broken down, just dust. I don't like that, and I find Royal Oak, normally comes through good. So get my charcoal chimney all filled up here, and then I go ahead and light up my fire starters. Now, it is winter here in Canada, so you can see there I have to throw in 2 or 3 sticks to really get things going, but it does work. Nothing to worry about. Let's go ahead and season up our steak now. So I clear off a little bit of space, throw down the cutting board, and I'm going to get this thing all done up. I got a nice strip loin steak today. Now, looking at it in this video, I probably should have taken the time to clean up the fat cap a little bit. It's a bit messy there, but what can you do? I'm going to hit it with some Cuso's gravel and dirt. I find this stuff does a great job for building a perfect crust on steaks. So when I'm seasoning my steak out by the barbecue, what I normally do is I just dump things kind of wildly like this. Then I use the actual cutting board to season the remainder of the steak. Give things a good rub in, pet it in, rub that around, move it around, make sure to get all those sides covered. And as you can see here, this steak is getting nice and coated. This is looking pretty good. So, now it's just patience. We're going to get this all seasoned up. And remember, when you're rubbing in rubs, you don't want to actually rub it in. You want to pet it in. So we're waiting for this charcoal chimney to get fired up. Patience is key. That's what matters. So while you're waiting for your barbecue to get ready, it's pretty typical that you just kind of, come out and enjoy the snow. That's what's important. Just enjoying yourself. Cooking steak in the winter in Canada. So as I laid there in that snow, enjoying the warmth, and then I realized my charcoal chimney's ready. So grab that, throw it down, make sure things are ready to go, get the grill fired up. You can see here, it's just a cool shot of my grill with all the ice and stuff melting off. but eventually we hit roughly about 500 degrees on the grill. So I decided to pull off the lid, throw down the steak, and get the searing process going. Now, if you're wondering how I cook my strip loin steaks, this is what I normally do. I use direct heat. I try to not flip it all that often. You will have seen in my other videos recently cooking steak, I did flip it a bunch, but that's not the end of the world. I'm just trying different techniques. So today, I'm only going to flip it like once or twice and just let this try and build a nice crust. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it on to indirect heat. And I'm going to try and bring it up to roughly 125. That's what I'm looking for. I'm aiming for rare. Then when I rest it, I'm hoping it kind of comes up to like 132, 135, something like that, like rare, medium rare. So we'll see how this goes. As well, when I move it on to indirect heat, my plan is to position it so that the fat cap is very close to the charcoal beds, but not directly over top. This will help allow the steak to continue to render, but it will also just kind of make it so that it doesn't overcook, right? That's really important here. So there was my first flip. The crust probably could have been built a little bit better, but at the same time, I'm not too disappointed in it. This steak looks absolutely delicious, and I'm having a lot of fun just cooking outside in this storm. You can see in this video here, there's a little bit of wind. That's kind of like giving a little bit of breath to my fire, kind of stoking it a little bit. So I actually like that. Not to mention all these little flurries that are going by. It's just cute. Just nice this time of year with Christmas and whatnot. I just really like it. It's really enjoyable. This is a very nice vibe, this atmosphere. Yeah, cooking on your barbecue in the backyard, it's just a great thing sometimes, right? Just like liking and subscribing to my channel. It's winter time. I'm going to be doing a lot more cooks outside and storms like this, so I highly suggest you like and subscribe, join my ever-growing community, comment below, let me know how you like your steak. Let me know if you think I didn't cook this steak enough or if you think I overcooked it. I'm always interested to hear how my community likes their food. But yes, anyway, I'm out here on my Napoleon charcoal grill. You know me. Got my Royal Oak lump charcoal fired up. With all that wind blowing through, you can really see that heat from those embers. It's kicking up lots of flame, kissing that steak. This is exactly what I wanted. Oops, dropped it there. Anyway, so that crust is just coming up perfect. I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing here, so I'm getting it ready for the next flip, continuing the sear on the other side. So when you're cooking your steaks, what's really good and important to watch for is the seasoning on the outside. Seasonings are a good indicator if you're burning everything or not because, well, they burn earlier than the steak. So if you're seeing them starting to burn, just be cautious. There are a lot of steaks, though, with seasoning that you can burn. So it's not always the end of the world, but, check it out. Anyway, this is the pen I'm going to be using. It's by Thermal Pro, and it's an instant read thermometer. It's pretty awesome. You can see here, we stick it in some snow, and it instantly drops in temperature. Pretty badass. Yeah, these thermometers are really helpful and really useful when you're cooking outside this time of year, making sure you're hitting the right temperatures. So I thought I'd just check the temperature really quick. We're at about 70 degrees, so we got about quite the ways to go here, about 60 degrees or so. So I'm going to go ahead, like I said earlier in the video, and rotate my steak. Now the fat cap is going to be facing over to the charcoals, just like I said. And my hope is that it will continue just to kind of render down from that heat. And here I am just a little bit later on, just giving a quick update, check-in. We're at about 100 or so, no, maybe 90, there, yeah. So one end of the steak is cooking a little bit faster than the other. That's good to know. That instant read thermometer shows me that, right? But anyway, out here in a snowstorm. I got my Thermal Pro instant read thermometer. It doesn't even matter how cold it is outside, if it's snowing or whatever. This thing is super reliable. It's constantly reading the temperature properly. Super helpful when I'm cooking steaks. I really like this. This thermometer is fantastic. This instant read pen just sticks out so easily. Check it out. Boom. Stick that into like briskets, pulled pork, whatever you need. I'm using it for steak, but super, super efficient, super effective. All right, so it's been a few minutes now, maybe 5 or so, and let's go back and check it. We're checking roughly in the center, and we're hitting 132, 133. Okay, yeah, time for me to pull this off. I was not looking to cook it that far. Like I said earlier, I was looking for 125, but hopefully that's because I was checking the temperature a little bit closer to the thin end of the steak. So let's cut into this and let's see the result. Like I said, I was looking for a rare, and there you have it. As it flips down, I hit that rare, medium rare, just like I wanted. That Thermal Pro instant read thermometer really helped me hit that perfect temp. You can use the link below in the description of the video, along with the code ThermalPro20, and you can get 20% off your order over $30 now on any instant read thermometers on their site. Anyway, check out this unbelievable steak. This looks wonderful. I'm psyched about this. So I wasn't 100% certain how it was going to turn out since it was a snowstorm or not, but I had this chili lime sea salt that I've been thinking about for a little bit now. Just look at that. Oh, that looks unreal. I really enjoy salts. Finishing salts for steaks, anything really. And this is just the perfect combination. That little chili heat along with the savory saltiness. Oh, just to die for. I mean, look at these. Each of these are just a wonderful little bite. Let me know in the comments below. Is this cooked enough for you? Is this too cooked for you? Would you enjoy a bite of this? Do you think adding the sea salt was the right choice? Check this out though. I think these are just gorgeous. I'm blown away by how good this looks. Like, here, let's go in for a little bit closer of a look. Let's grab one of these and check it out. Yeah, see, this guy's looking wonderful. Look at that. The color, that red hue, the salts there. Oh, holy cow. I am just in heaven right now. And I really enjoy steak frite. So I did some homemade fries. Just nothing special, but I served the steak up with them, and it was just a wonderful lunch. I served my wife and myself both this. We both really enjoyed this. Check it out. Here it is plated up. It's nothing special, just a couple slices of steak and some homemade French fries, roasted in the oven. Oh, 10 out of 10. This meal was fantastic. Thanks again for watching my recipe videos. I hope you're liking and subscribing, enjoying my ever-growing community, and trying to wrangle up all you home cooks out there so we can give each other advice in my comments. If you think I cooked this correctly or incorrectly, please let me know below. If you take a bite, I'm interested to know that as well. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. I'm also on TikTok. Make sure you're staying safe this holiday season and enjoying yourself as well. And remember, guys, barbecue for life. What's up, what's up? It's Saucy Rossy, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue. And today, I was extraordinarily hungry. So I made this home-cooked meal using the Temp Spike Plus by Thermal Pro to perfectly cook this chicken to an internal temperature of 165 degrees. I'll show you the whole thing. So starting off, I took my chicken breast. I gave them a very light coating in olive oil. Then I put on the dry rub of my choice. Today I'm using the barbecue spice rub by the South Shore Sea Salt Company out of Hubbard's, Nova Scotia. Absolutely love this spice rub. I made sure to fully coat all sides. To be completely honest, I went on with a little bit extra because I friggin' love it. Then I grabbed my Temp Spike Plus by Thermal Pro and I slotted this into one of the chicken breasts. Now, this is going to let me wirelessly monitor the internal temperature of these chicken breasts so I can cook them to the exact temperature I want. Today I'm aiming for 165 internal, and I'm going to be using my Napoleon charcoal grill to do all this cooking. But as you saw at the beginning, I also have a couple other things, like this butternut squash that I picked up at my local grocery store. I thought that would go perfectly well. You know, it's that time of year and root vegetables are at their prime, so I thought I'd pick this up. So if you're unfamiliar with butternut squash, basically you just slice it open, then scoop out the seeds and the extra little gunk in this pit. Then the rest of it you can roast and eat. It's kind of like a sweet potato carrot. It's kind of really confusing, but it's really delicious. If you've never tried it, highly recommend it. It's a really easy side to prepare on your barbecue. Now for me, I'm planning on just putting this brown sugar on there, then hitting it with this Halifax Honey Company's Stingin' Hot Honey. I think that's going to be the right way to enjoy this. So I go ahead and I kind of spill my charcoals all over the place while I'm trying to pour them into my 2 baskets. You can see me cleaning up that mess right here. My goodness. Remember, people, be safe when you're using a charcoal grill. These things are friggin' hot. Then I throw my grill grate down, and basically I'm ready to go at this point. I'm pretty pumped up. So now that we've got this rip-roaring kettle grill, we're going to go ahead and put this butternut squash on the outside of the indirect heat zone. Then we're going to take our chicken breast and we're going to slot those on the inside. Now you can see I have the Thermal Pro Temp Spike Plus in that chicken breast, and I've set it so the thermometer is going inwards. That's going to let us read the ambient temperature as well of the barbecue. So not only am I getting the internal readings of the meat, I'm also getting the external readings of the barbecue. So I can monitor the temperature of the barbecue and the meat at the same time with this Temp Spike Plus. Super cool utility. And what makes it even easier is that it's an app on my phone. So I can go inside, I can watch TV. All I have to do is go in and set the right settings. You can see here I'm switching over to poultry, which is chicken, and I'm setting it for that internal temperature of 165 degrees. Now we're only at 95 degrees right now, but we're gonna wait and let the Temp Spike Plus let us know when it's time to pull this off the barbecue. So this is about halfway through the cook, maybe 3/4 of the way, and you can see that hot honey and brown sugar has almost melted into a little pool in there. I wasn't really ready for that. But you learn from your mistakes, right? But these chicken breasts are looking absolutely gorgeous. They've kind of firmed up a little bit. That olive oil kind of helped tighten up the outside, and that dry rub is looking absolutely delicious. So just play it patient, and boom, there we go. We've now hit that 165 internal, so now it's time for us to pull these off the barbecue. It's actually really convenient having this app and this thermometer. Like, I got to just sit inside and watch some hockey while this was just going, and I didn't have to walk out to my barbecue over and over just to make sure, it was keeping temperature. All I had to do was load up my smartphone, and it told me the temperature of the barbecue and the meat. Plus, notified me when it was done. And this is all you need. It's just this little tool right here, Temp Spike Plus by Thermal Pro. Honestly, if you're interested, you can use code Saucy Rossy 20 to get 20% off of your order over $30 now on buythermalpro.com. I've collaborated with them because I just love their tool, and I think that you guys would really benefit from it as well. So if you're in the interest for a new thermometer, make sure you check out buythermalpro.com, code SaucyRossy20. But check out this final product. This little dinner I put together for myself was absolutely delicious. It's pretty orange now that I'm actually looking at it here, but that's because we got this sweet potato, we got the butternut squash all roasted up, the cherry tomatoes and the corn on there as well, and that delicious roasted chicken. That honestly was the game changer for this meal. I mean, just check this out. It was so juicy, so succulent, and so delicious. So thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure you like and subscribe. Take care. Stay safe.